first job. On November 3rd, a private meeting will be held by the Federal Reserve and a decision is going to be made.
Man, was pushing buttons. By the time I was 7 to 8, it wasn't a real job, but it was actually going out seeking money. You know what I'm saying? My dad used to write down this in the head, just spent all like 100. I don't know how old I was. Run down to the once and that to the man, whatever he gave me, I took it back home. And so I just got familiar with dealing with people. That's what I did. Great business. It was on the level I could deal with.
What's the worst job you ever had?
And I used to work for this landscape company.
Some days, yeah. Hot Miami sun.
Talking about, man, I might have felt like I got $15 a day. And I tell you, man, used to cut grass for 6 hours. And when I say no breaks, and I remember go up, I used to help out on the roof and come on. That was crazy.
Oh, summertime on the roof.
And tar, burned it with well, yeah, don't know what the hell you're doing. They put you on the roof, just helping out, whatever it is.
You got a staple gun. Yeah. You were all-American football player. What did football mean to you as a young man? Like, did it give you leadership capabilities? Teach you about teamwork? You know how to how were you in the locker room? Manage egos?
I think they taught me a lot of because, you know, as a youngster, I never could play offense football because I was too heavy. So
yeah, you were like 100 pounds bigger than everybody else, right? Yeah.
So by the time I was in the 7th grade, I was a big boy. So I was one of the ones that by the time I was in the 8th grade, I was almost my couple moves, ran my moves.
They made you stand in the back in school pictures.
No, back in So by the time I got to high school, I had to be tall. You know, because I ran up in the school and I disrespected somebody on the football team. You know, put his hands on the ribs.
Older something? Yeah.
That's what I meant by nobody in my age. So I was a freshman. Started. It was summertime,
yeah.
You know, but they also seen that, you know, the leadership was in me. Because I took it like a
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just let them know. I really wasn't much. That's my shirt off, you know what I'm saying? But what he did establishing me amongst the rest of the freshmen and sophomores was priceless. I'd do it over.
And did you see like a future for yourself playing football?
I think I most definitely was special. I had that drive.
What position were you?
I was a center. I was a center, you know, and I was an All-American. You know, I was a special.
So offensive line, you got to work with your teammates.
Yeah. Not only that, you know, the same way I talk shit, that's what I did on the football field.
Is that right?
Yeah, I would walk up and tell the nose guard, it's on 3. And they couldn't do shit. But, you know, what I did to them. So it's like, you take their heart. And that was something that I just always did and loved to do. Take somebody hard. And that's what I think I loved about hip-hop. The battle and the challenges and going up against the world. And that's why, you know, I knew I would, if I got in the game, I knew I would go up against somebody that was, everybody thought was bigger than me, just as the excitement. And if I lost, I wouldn't have gave a fuck, but I knew I would win.
Well, you took on some hairy situations in terms of like early label deals, right?
Yeah.
Like, what was your relationship with Tony Draper like?
It was real dope. You know what I'm saying? I really spent a lot of time with Draper.
How'd he find you, or how'd you find him?
I went and found him.
You did?
Yeah, that Suave House sound. I wanted to sign the Suave House.
So you made your way down there?
I drove to Texas.
Straight away.
Texas.
Just you? What car?
I forgot what we was.
Yeah.
I forgot how we got there, how much gas we stole, how many rest stops we stopped at. But I know we got there.
You found Tony Draper.
I found him.
And what was your selling point? You just press play?
What? I'm Rose. I came to find you. I want to sign the Swab House. You better listen to me. I'm going to change the game. Where T-Mix at, I need his sound. And when you go and you listen to 8-Ball MJG on top of the world, if you Google it and play it right now, I'm sure you will feel some of that rich forever luscious coming out of that Memphis that I said I need this. Everybody can't rap on this. It sounds so rich. If I mix what I'm going to say on this, it's going to be mind-blowing. That's what I always felt.
How many tracks did you have with you?
Man, I went to Tony Draper's studio and recorded. I can't even remember.
Did he make you rap like right then and there? Like live?
Oh, I made him listen to me.
Yeah.
I just wrote this for you. Need to listen to some of these bars.
Yeah.
I'm talking about getting money. This ain't no regular Miami twerking. I don't want to see a bitch dance. I want to get some money. I'm trying to take over the whole game. And that was just my approach. And I spit some shit for him. He's like, hey, heck on my number. Call me. I'm going to call you the bar.
And you did? What was your first show like? Was that the Outkast one?
That was like one of my first performances where they put me on the flyer.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Like Willow, yeah. Opening up for Outkast. Where at?
Opening out Studio 183.
Man.
And that's where my Triller album cover, I'm sitting in the backseat of my very first Maybach. It's parked right in front of Studio 183.
Damn.
That's why I did that.
Damn. What was the reaction like?
Man, you know they ain't really fuck with us.
Or did they fuck with Willow?
They ain't fuck with us at all. You know what I'm saying? That was just one of the things. It's like the streets wasn't ready for that shit. You know, and whoever the promoter was from somewhere else who promoted and brought Outkast.
Yeah.
You know, they needed a local act.
Yeah.
And that's how I got on it, not because I was the shit or nothing like that.
Yeah.
They just know they needed a local act, and however I got it, wow. And it was just.
Did you get to cross paths with Outkast at all, or were they?
I sat back and watched. You know what I'm saying? Because they had just really released Players Ball, but I seen the vision.
Yeah.
I seen the vision.
Oh, you thought the things were gonna work out for them? Yeah.
I knew they was finna blow. Once I heard that sound, to me the sound determines everything. This shit is different. That's just like when I did BMF. You know, collaborating with Lex Luger. I told him, get ready, your life will change.
Yeah. And it did.
It's different.
Shout out to Spiff TV.
Yeah, shout out to Spiff.
That project was like so different. So different for you, so different for the business.
Yeah, well,
what made you decide to get Styles on that? That's our man.
Because I just felt like every damn hustling, this for you know, the ones who come from the mud. You know what I mean? And when I think about New York City, lyricists from the mud,
LOX.
Yeah, I most definitely think of Styles P. You know what I'm saying? And I sent it to him. He laced me, sent it right back, and I was just like, yo, it's dope.
Did you guys have a relationship before that?
Yeah, every time we ever crossed paths, because I was always a fan of the LOX. Anybody that was around B.I.G., I just wanted to ask you a few questions. What was that like?
Yeah.
What he did in the studio? What did he smoke out of? You know, just the weirdest questions. Styles and Jadakiss, they always gave me something I could leave with. That's why I always, you know, was a fan of the LOX, and I made that clear. And, they always gave me game. They always, anytime you need something, big homie, holla at me. I'm talking about out the gate before I was solidified. So my love for them will be genuine.
That's real.
There's certain dudes who did things for me that they didn't have to, where if something ever presented itself, I would turn the other cheek and walk away. Because I'm that type of person. even if I know if
Thanks for tuning in to FREIBA E.
certain people that I would walk
It is midnight here on the East Coast, actually 12:58, almost 1 a.m.
That means something.
Just taking a quick look at markets right now. So far, I mean, for the past hour or so, we've been looking at Shiba, Shiba Inu, cryptocurrency. A lot of hype. It's moving pretty fast. It's up pretty big right now. What we're looking to do here is just kind of, we just charted it out. You can go back and this should be a VOD to kind of look at the previous chart, but to give you a quick look at what were the levels that we're looking at to trade next on Shiba.
Drive me around the hills and just let me look at the houses. And Spiff had the
So I'm just gonna go over to a 1 hour chart here.
He was going through the beats. And that's how I came up with that. I was riding by a house. I said, God,
trading in kind of a wild channel here, but
this would affect your tip. How fast drive.
Obviously hit a level of resistance earlier today. But yeah, here's a quick look at what we're looking at here as far as levels we expect to hold with the current trajectory that it's on.
That's how I came up with the whole chorus.
So that was an hourly chart. We're going to jump out to the daily chart here.
That's what inspired me.
You take that.
There's something about structures and some shit. I don't know. I don't know.
So, but you put that out as a mixtape.
Yeah, I released because BMF for one of those had already leaked. So I put a body of work that I had quit.
Was that Albert Anastasia?
Yeah, love that.
Yeah.
Right, and you know the shit just kept growing until Def Jam was ready for the project. I said, y'all ready?
They better be ready.
And you know, I put together Teflon Don, and
Alright, here we
How
go.
did you sign to Def Jam?
Yeah. So Shakir Stewart
came down.
but he's one of a million people who were calling you up at that time, right?
Yeah,
so
Atlantic
but
was in the picture.
let's even go back before that, because Swab House and then Slip and Slide.
Right.
What was your relationship with Ted Lucas like?
Well, you know, the Swap House situation was where Draper got in a legal situation where he was preparing himself to never know what could happen. He just pulled me to the side and said, "You're home, I love
So
you."
it's on track to do
I made a phone call to the dude to Miami.
to make some big moves here, but you know, again, it's obviously at a level of resistance. You know, I guess the next level is the 5,000, so to
That's
speak.
really decent.
We can anticipate that level to be reached. You know, with this current trajectory,
Well, they knew Miami, yeah.
definitely this week. There's a couple catalysts. One catalyst being that Shiba's now listed on Weibo. The next catalyst is it being listed on Robinhood. That hasn't been confirmed yet. Hasn't been denied, so it's obviously coming. So that's just stuff that we're looking for on Shiba. So we got that together. What I'm going to do is take a quick peek at Bitcoin. And then after Bitcoin, I'm going to jump over to the stock market. I'm going to run through tickers pretty quickly, as we're going to be actually wrapping this up shortly.
Yeah. So I actually signed with Slip and Slide. I had never signed with Swap House. Draper just took me under his wing and just was showing me love.
Did anybody look over the contract for you when you went over to Slip and Slide?
Did they? I don't even remember.
Like, did you have a lawyer or anything?
And if I did have a lawyer, it wasn't one that was like no career shit.
Yeah.
I was a youngster at the time, and I was
Alright, so daily chart on Bitcoin.
Because I'm sure
Bitcoin's just cracked 62,000.
It would have been a process.
So it's re-breaking that area, it's finding some support here. You have a potential head and shoulder setup that's happening on Bitcoin right now. So it's not
I sat in his basement for a week.
That's how it just plays at you.
Right.
It's not really breaking back out yet, but it's looking good for the week. The stock market's supposed to have a tough time this week, so there should be some more strength in Bitcoin as you start to see that divergence.
I don't want to hold you up. I made a call. Just gonna put some paper in your pocket. I was like, damn, you gonna be good? He's like, I ain't sure yet, big homie, but and I was like, I respect it. I'm gonna do it. And I did it.
So how did slip and slide play out?
I mean,
not perfectly. Not great.
So here's the daily,
I feel like,
still looking pretty strong.
you know, and as I look back now,
Volume's dying down a little
I got
bit
a
as
lot
volume
of
moves over to the
love and
altcoins,
respect
but
to When I
again,
look back
there's going
now,
to be obviously
understanding the
more volume coming into
position he was
Bitcoin.
in.
Let's break this down to the hourly chart just to have a little bit of a closer look.
It's not like that.
Well, when did you come to that realization? Because for a long time
So
you were not.
re-breaking some levels here. You have the 20 moving average starting to curl, the 50 moving average starting to curl. Have a bit of a gap here between the 200, but it's relatively close to that, to breaking out over that, but it's probably going to act as resistance for now.
Forward, that chip on your shoulder that you had with him, no?
Back up a little bit. So we got some heavy pressure here at the 62.5 level. So look for that to break by the morning. Kind of go from there.
Have you spoken to him? Okay.
Ted is a certified dude, but he was wise enough
Got
to
a little
know
bit of consolidation here.
he's just emotional.
Basically bouncing off the 60,000 level a couple times. So that's acting as support. So 60,000 on Bitcoin should be a good sign of the consolidation and the potential uptrend continuation.
Oh, it's the type of deal, Ted. Oh, yeah. So he was spending a lot of his own.
Let's jump over to stocks.
Because a lot of times
Take a quick look at some of the tickers that we're going to be looking at in the morning, just to see kind of what news might be coming out, what might be moving up or down.
A lot of times they be in a position where they have to break you, spend their own money, spend their own marketing, spend their own radio, and
most popular stock right now is DWAC.
They could love your lyrics and tell you your lyrics, though. You a dope MC.
Yeah.
What if you don't have the right single?
Right. Yeah. Also, there's a lot of dope MCs out there.
DWAC obviously is a brand new ticker. Basically went public in October. It's a special purpose acquisition company. This company is going to
Port
be
Miami was supposed to come out on Slip and Slide
reportedly
for a long time.
tied to Donald Trump's new social media platform.
That and move on to
I
something
believe that's
different,
called
right?
Truth.
Yeah. So how many
So
records
it's been a
did
lot
you
of
work on
hoopla.
that actually
Things
made
been
it
up
onto Port
quite
Miami like
a
we
lot.
know it right now?
Right, thing, most SPACs start around $10 per share. This thing went up to
the tide turned. Now everybody's
a high of $175. Pretty impressive move, but this is a brand new ticker. So for one, first thing you see is that there's a gap to fill. That gap is technically about $45. Up to the $100 level. So massive gap. We broke down into that gap a little bit as it was selling off. However, it's still the beginning. So again, it's just one of the most popular stocks in the market, DWAC, and that's Digital World. It's an acquisition company. Let's take a closer look. The hourly is pretty good for now, but just kind of, it's only been a couple days of trading. We can actually look at a 5-minute chart and see if there's any intraday patterns being formed. But from my perspective, as the volume dies down here, it's going to be less buyers and more people looking for this to come back down to a more affordable level, which is probably this flag here, and anywhere between $40 to $50. So we'll be looking for some more pressure to the downside. There's a lot of investors that have already exited, institutional investors that have already exited their positions, obviously looking to acquire some more shares at a lower price. What is a good price for this stock? Honestly, around $25 to $30 for now. There's no product, there's no service, it's just hype. So that something we'll keep an eye on. But yeah, that is DWAC. The other hottest stock on the market right now is PHUN, PHUN, which is basically a dollar stock. That's going to make its way back down to that level at some point. As you can see, has a very similar looking chart pattern as DWAC. Volume starting to die down. There's a lot of selling pressure. I anticipate this to be, maybe a $2.50 to maybe $4, but $2.50 to $3 would probably be the price target in the short run for this. Particularly as the volume dies down, the hype kind of dies down. So you have a gap to fill here, and so we'll get pretty close to that gap being filled. You can call some potential support at maybe $4, but we'll just keep watching that. But that's something that's extremely popular right now in the market, so we'll look out for that tomorrow as well. That's PHUN, ticker PHUN. Next, we'll take a look at Snapchat. Snapchat got hit pretty hard after earnings. This is something that we called out in our chat room. So a few people DM me about it, but massive sell-off in Snapchat. Gap down about $20, still moving down. In terms of when is the bleeding going to stop for Snapchat? I mean, well, first of all, the overall market is probably going to start to pull back as we just hit a new all-time high. So I anticipate Snapchat to continue to pull back. Just look at the daily chart. I think I charted about $49. Should be potential support for Snapchat. So we're probably looking at that level on this before a bounce. Psychologically, $50 is a level that people seem to buy. A lot of traders have been circulating the fact that $50 is cheap for Snapchat, but as you can see here, kind of have a falling knife, and this is a bearish engulfing candle that's not done moving downward. So there's no need to kind of think of this as the time to get in. It hasn't stopped moving lower, so you want to find maybe some consolidation. Again, you have a couple points in the past where consolidation started to happen around the $50 level. So again, that's what we'll look for here on Snapchat. Yeah, so probably look for a pattern kind of like this on Snapchat. Consolidation around $50. So you figure by the end of the month that consolidation should be over. So this week we'll look for consolidation around here, around $50, and then bounce curl similar to other times in the past. As far as how far it goes, you got kind of a gap here to where more selling started. So you figure about $56. Probably not. I mean, you probably get back into this gap a little bit here. So maybe $65, which is also the 200 moving average for now. So that's Snapchat. Look at Facebook. Facebook, Twitter, they're all pulling back right now, similar to Snapchat. Facebook gap down along with it, but just gap down to the 200 moving average. Have earnings coming up. Today. Don't know if it's pre-market or aftermarket, but Facebook will be reporting. Facebook makes a boatload of cash, we all know. However, recent scandals may keep it down here for a while. Maybe want to see something like this, a break below the 200. So far it's bouncing off of it, or at least it stopped selling off of it, so it had a small bounce. But you maybe could potentially see some consolidation down here, or an immediate bounce to at least close this gap and move up back over the 350 level. So Facebook definitely has that strength, to do that, and it depends on not only the earnings but the guidance tomorrow. So we'll keep an eye out on Facebook. Take a look at Square. Square for tomorrow. Square is probably just going to continue to move with the market. What's happening now is the 200's kind of catching up, and it's almost clustering, almost like it did here before. So, you're going to have some volatility, and they have earnings coming up relatively soon, so maybe a pullback into earnings. Again, the market's going to kind of dictate the movement. This should pull back and move a little bit downwards here to kind of catch up to this 200 around earnings time before it starts to curl and bounce. So, which is a great opportunity for a potential long on Square, as they're working on a bunch of different projects: music, crypto, stocks, obviously, and banking. So, quick look at Square. Definitely a nice consolidation range here in the 200s, and once this gets a little bit tighter, as it's doing, it should start to move up to new highs relatively soon, but we'll see. I'll do a couple more here that definitely been eyeing before we wrap up. Let's take a look at Matterport. Matterport, ticker symbol MTTR. It's been really volatile recently. But definitely bouncing off of some levels. Price target on this is about $25. How long it takes to get there probably depend on earnings. Their earnings. So this quarter here, the earnings is probably not going to be great. So you can probably expect this to pull back to maybe under $20 again. Well, actually it already is, but probably down to this level, this local low here at around 1750, which is also the 50-day moving average. But before a quick bounce, you probably would expect this to hit that low. So probably call $17 on MTTR. That would be a great entry for this being a $25 stock. But with earnings coming up soon, you're going to want to kind of anticipate a pullback. So and if it's good earnings and it continues higher, then you can actually look at the $24 level and potentially just catch that move up. But you'll be able to see it, right? It's a pretty wide range, so you'll be able to see if it's good earnings, good reaction. It'll definitely make that move towards the $24 level, and you can catch it at any time. So we'll keep an eye on that tomorrow and as the earnings approaches, and whether it's a run up or run down into it. So that is Matterport, MTTR. Alright, and then lastly, we'll look at Walmart. So Walmart has some time before the next earnings. It's getting a lot of attention. Crypto's at the highs. Walmart just added a crypto catalyst, but also Walmart moves with the market. So I'd look for the 146 level to hit before the 150. So again, with the potential pullback tomorrow, look for Walmart at around 146 over the next couple of days as the market potentially starts to pull back. But as you can see, there's a lot of gaps on that Walmart here, and not really a stock that likes to gap, right? So it has gaps from time to time, but they're relatively close. There's some pretty big ones here, so you want to be careful with downside pressure to kind of fill in these gaps. There's a bunch of statistics behind gap fills, but it's not something we'll kind of get into just yet. But it was a nice bounce, right? It was way oversold. You can see actually it's the RSI here, it's purple line here at the bottom, and it bounced nicely, consolidated for a couple days, and just absolutely took off. So nice bounce, nice V-like recovery, but now we've hit some resistance, and again with the market potentially about to pull back because of the all-time highs, you can see some consolidation here. So a little bit of a pullback, consolidation in this range. You want to kind of see it bounce off of 146 for a while being about a week. So figure to the end of the month, and then a potential run up to over 150 as earnings approaches. Earnings on Walmart is relatively soon. It's about 2 weeks out, right? So we will anticipate some consolidation for a run up into the earnings, which should be good for Walmart, but we'll see where the market is and kind of where sentiment is as well, and go from there. Alright, so that is it for us here at FREIBA today. So far, we'll be back later today in our Discord. The link is in the description. So feel free to join us there. We'll put out the watch list before the market opens at 9:30, and we'll be trading the markets all day. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you guys soon. Have a good one.